Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's 11 o'clock and welcome to the Lost and Found. I am Gail Washington, but you knew that. Frankie is in absentia this morning. Basically, she's doing some entrepreneurial stuff. And what we're doing today is continuing the discussion on entrepreneurship. We have gotten some feedback and a few people were a little confused that we were also having a discussion about actual 9-to-5 jobs. Right now I'm broadcasting from Central Market in Fort Worth, Texas, which is my spot. I love this place, lots of energy and life here, and you can tell most of the entrepreneurs because they have a laptop or they're on their phone doing their business from a table out here. Not too many of us today, but it's an open space where you can come and just hang out. We are going to continue the discussion with the understanding that this month of June is focused on entrepreneurship, but also we recognize that there are those that are still in the throes of trying to find an actual 9-to-5 or are live looking for 9-to-5s. And we're going to have that discussion also kind of intertwined at some point. Frankie will more than likely chime in tomorrow to give more insight on that. But I had been sharing that I'm in the process of looking for the traditional employment and putting my resume out there and talking to different people and having interviews and going through different training. And that is all fine and well. What has been working for me so far is my actual business. Not that it's being incredibly successful. Keep in mind, I started my t-shirt business in September. So I am just like 10 months into birthing this baby. And it almost feels like actual childbirth from my understanding of what childbirth is. I've never had that opportunity. But in starting a business, there are so many different components that you have to be aware of. In starting my business in September, it really wasn't something that was new. It was something I fell back on. I had to revisit one of my skills and re-engage it. I had attempted a t-shirt business years ago. It didn't make sense. I wanted a graphic designer, and I had started looking for a graphic designer, and there's a website, Fiverr, Fivrr, which has a bunch of graphic designers, if you are not one yourself, which you can hire to do the work. And I started looking through Fiverr to find an actual graphic designer that would do my art, not recognizing, or remembering that I had gone to school for communications and had to take graphic design as part of my degree program. So silly me, once I overcame whatever I was going through at that moment, I sat down and I started to think about what I wanted my shirts to actually say. With that, I had to also come up with an understanding of what the overall store would be. I'm actually wearing one of my shirts right now, if you can see this, and it is Mastering the Art of Me. Mastering the Art of Me. My store name is Oneness, and oneness being the complete understanding that everything you need and have is within you. I wrote down oneness, not realizing that that was an actual word and an actual thing, more so within the Buddhist community than anywhere else. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is a real thing. Wayne Dyer, who is a self-help guru, passed away several years ago. He talks in depthly about oneness, and in my research of oneness, which I had to do, I realized that I actually had something that was an actual thing. It was not conceived, contrived, or made up in my mind. So in doing that, once you decide you're going to become a business owner, name it. Figure out what your concept is, who you are, what it is, what it does. Name it. Once you have written down that name and you're pretty solid on the name, claim it. Meaning, go to your county office and register it. Make certain no one else is using that name. In the beginning of my business, I wanted it to be called Spinster by Design, because I'm a single woman, never having been married. and traditionally I would be considered a spinster. I like the term. I think it has an action component to it. Somebody had already trademarked spinster, so I could not use it by itself. Spinster by design is what I chose. I started using spinster in everything, and I have personalized license plates because I try to market my business any way I can. They would not let me have spinster because if you go to the dictionary and look up spinster, it is considered a derogatory term, which in reality, being single with no kids, being able to do what you want, when you want, how you want, not necessarily derogatory in 2019. Kind of a concept a whole lot of people are trying to run to. But I decided to go with oneness because it was more inclusive of a broader group of people, because there are a lot of single people on the planet self-identifying on the level that they choose and enjoying life just because, and not living by anyone else's perception. You're at one with the one that is in you, and you're just living your life. So I went ahead and did oneness by design. I got it registered. I could not have ONENESS because somebody else had already trademarked and registered it. So when you are naming your business and you are deciding on what that will be, make certain to do your due diligence in the wording and how you name that. Your concept might be new to you, but if you do a broader scale and a wider search, you might find out that someone else also had the same idea you had before you. Copyright infringement is a thing, and it's costly, so by all means, make certain that you get that information correct. Start promoting your business as soon as you have made certain no one else owns it and you're not infringing upon copyright, trademark, intellectual property, or anything like that. Make certain that you are the one who can own it. And once you recognize what you have is valid and it is pretty exclusive to you, get it trademarked. At least submit your paperwork for trademark, because it's not an easy process. It's an easy process, it's just not a timely process. It has to go through a variety of different legal means, and once you submit your paperwork for here, you can do a paperwork that's regional, meaning you'll be trademarked within your state or that area as opposed to nationally. And the international trademark laws are even more stringent, which it would be wonderful if you could get to that level, but that means you have a whole lot of money and a whole lot of lawyers on your side helping you with that. So go ahead and make certain you name your business. Have a meaning behind the name, because people always like a good story when you tell them what your business means. Frugenglaja, if you remember that ice cream from like the mid-80s, that guy just kind of came up with that name and had no meaning. It was not exclusive to any area or region. He just made it up, and I think, if I remember the story correctly, he liked it because it made his daughter laugh. So however you come to the name, make sure you have a way to explain that, because when you start to get into the business plan of what you're doing, if you at some point need to ask any other entity for money to fund your business, at some point they are going to want to know every aspect of everything you've done with that business, from how you named it to what it is going to produce. And did you know that you can actually have a concept of a business with no product, no service, just you and an idea, and you can get somebody to help you fund that? There are different agencies. The Small Business Administration, of course, is one. I've talked about that before. But there is also Warrior Rising, which is an organization I am partnering with. They are not sponsoring any of this. Small Business Administration does not. Frankie and I, we don't have sponsors, doggone it. We sponsor ourselves. This is how much we sponsor ourselves. The shirt is mine. The earrings are from Séjour Creations. So we stay on point, sponsoring ourselves, supporting our friends, and these earrings are just slamming, if I might say so myself, and the purple meshes in with the blue beautifully, just beautifully. But we're not sponsored by anyone. But I am working with an organization called Warrior Rising. If you are a military veteran or the spouse of, you should make certain, if you are starting your own business, to make sure you tap into the resources that are offered to military veterans, because we are a really huge group of people, and everyone is on board with helping us achieve our best, whatever that looks like for you. If you've named your business, you've claimed the name of your business, meaning you've registered it with as a doing business as, or a limited liability, or sole proprietorship, or however you want that. If you have partners in your business, you have to also list them, and they have to be on board with everything you do. Once you have accomplished that, you're starting to promote your business. When you start promoting your business, you have got to know social media. At this point in 2019, moving forward, be on something other than Facebook. Facebook is fantastic. Facebook is almost like the family reunion at this point. Instagram allows you to lay out a pictorial, picture, like a lookbook is what most of them call it in the world of marketing, of what you do. Whether your deal is t-shirts or earrings or food, dance, whatever you do, that little snippet on Instagram could lie between you and the person wanting to fund your business. Everybody needs to know that you are actively participating in your growth and development. And if you have your product ready to showcase, I highly recommend Instagram. I also recommend doing the ads per Facebook ads, Twitter, Instagram ads. They are still viable, but I would go across all platforms. Do not underestimate the advertising of the old days. Postcards, emails, letting family and friends in on it. And most of your family and friends probably won't even be on social media, so you're going to have to do some mail outs in order to get them. There is the cutest little girl walking around here trying to figure out what I'm doing with her little curly red hair. Her parents are over there. I can see them, but she is trying to figure out what I'm doing, and she is just adorable. Okay, so learning social media. You're going to have to educate people within your social media groups to click share. You're going to have to prompt them to do the share, because for some reason, when you are closely attached to someone, it's almost like siblings. Yeah, they know you're there and they know you're doing stuff, but that's your sister, that's your brother, and they're like, whatever. But my biggest fans and the people that promote most for me are my siblings and my nieces and nephews. They are on point, and all their checks are in the mail. I don't know what address they're going to, but the checks are in the mail for you on that promotion. Do not be shamed into not promoting yourself. I am from, and Frankie and I talked during the relationship portion on family and a little bit about religion and everything, and I am from a community where self-promotion is not a good thing. To talk about yourself, to talk about your business, it means that you are putting yourself above God, and you just don't do that. The reality is, regardless of how religious you are, there's the parable of the talents, and if you have a skill, an idea, something that requires something that happens so organically you cannot take claim to it. It had to come from a higher power. How shameful would it be if you yourself did not promote that on your own? Self-promotion is not a bad thing. Grandiose self-promotion, just promoting self, yeah, sitting here, if I were to talk about how glorious I am today and how my silver highlights are popping, they are. But the reality is, you have got to be your biggest advocate. You've got to be your biggest cheerleader. You have got to be that person that lets the world know what you're doing. You can't sit idle and assume everybody is going to just click into what you're doing. I'm sitting here in a very unique shirt. If someone asks me what it's about, you best believe I've got my elevator pitch ready. So We're not at the point yet where you would do a business plan, although you should research doing your business plans. Small business administration, workforce in anybody's city, most groups that help women, most groups that help victims. And what you don't know about most of the nonprofits that do a lot of this stuff, you don't have to be a woman or a victim to get those services, because if you are educated, there's a tendency that your spirit is elevated. Therefore, once you are helped, you are helping other people. Okay, so check out those organizations that will help you with your fear of social media, that will help you with your fear of self-promotion or promotion in general, and those groups that will help you start your business. Publications. There is a whole Entrepreneur magazine. Again, we're not sponsored. Entrepreneur magazine will give you so many of the different resources or connection to the resources you need to start your business. I like that one best because they sometimes have contests. If your entrepreneurial venture is writing, you want to be an author, guess what? Authors are entrepreneurs. If you're writing stuff and people are paying you for it, or you just happen to write a best-selling novel, you're an entrepreneur. You're a writer. That is a job. It's a fun job. It's a really fun job, but it's a job nonetheless. And you promote yourself as an entrepreneur, as a writer, as an author, whichever one of those is, whichever one of those falls into your purview. Writer's Digest is one of the best publications for writers. And I've self-published many times, and I've taken to self-publishing now, not using my own name because I've gone into a whole different new arena, and I don't want my name on that yet. Seriously, I don't. But once I get there, I will. Make your mark starting with family and friends first. What has worked best for me in starting my business, I told no one. I didn't. I just did it, and then I invited them in by letting them know about my store. I identified people who I wanted to be ambassadors, like for the long haul throughout this whole thing, and I got my product to them personally so that they could start promoting it. And I knew that the people I chose would be the ones who would step out and take the pictures and be on social media. So at this point now, I am trying to go ahead and get the social media ambassador program for my business going, which is quite extensive at this point. The ambassador program that I've identified for my business, I will identify 20 ambassadors. Yes, thank you, Frankie. I love the earrings as well. They are fantastic. They are indeed fantastic. But there's a multitude of different ambassador programs with different organizations. With my ambassador program, I'm cutting it off at 20 people. Those 20 people will be in almost like a membership box program where each year they get 3 items from my store. And it is up to them to either gift those items or wear them and consent to a photo shoot. And the photo shoot is basically so I can start building a lookbook for my product. While I am now working with an organization that helps veterans, the beauty of that is I get a mentor. If you are able to get someone to mentor you through your business, oh my God, it's amazing. And the funny part is we just got started with the mentorship, and already this guy has taken my business plan. He ripped it apart. It was beautiful, all the red marks in it. And most people would be offended by that. If you offend easily, don't go into business. If you offend easily, do not go into business, because there will be people who will love what you do. There'll be people who like what you do, and there'll be people that'll show up just to rip it apart because they think it's amusing. So as an entrepreneur, don't be so attached to your product that when someone says you need to get rid of that, you're so attached to it you cannot make that move, especially if it comes from your mentor. They are seeing it from a totally different perspective, and they're seeing it from a level of business acumen you do not have. So don't go lightly into running your own business. I fell into doing my own business this time. In high school, I fell into doing my own business because my parents wouldn't buy my Right On magazine, and I needed to make some money so I can get my magazine because I needed that fix. Michael Jackson was life back then. Right now, I fell into my business because I had an accident, and the job I had, all types of weirdness happened with it, and there was no job to go back to once I was at a point of healing that I thought I could return to work. I am at a point of healing now where I believe I can return to work. I won't know until I'm in a work environment how well I can work. So until those opportunities open up, I will continue my business, which is the t-shirts, which is a lot of fun. The t-shirts are a lot of fun. Look up Message in a Bottle. The lady who started that t-shirt business, she offers a class on how to start your t-shirt business. I, of course, YouTubed it. I'm a planner by nature. I'm a certified planner, certified business planner, as well as program planner. And I have a certification in strategic grant writing. I've taken numerous business classes over the years because of the 9-to-5s that I had over the years required me to understand networking and sales and marketing and trends and strategic planning and all of that stuff. So her program I would recommend because based off of her background, which she was an architect and then started doing t-shirts because she wanted her own business. Message in a Bottle is the name of her business, and her name right now, I think it's Kalila, and I'm forgetting her last name, but Google Message in a Bottle. Her packaging is phenomenal. I love that she takes her shirts and puts them in a bottle in the traditional sense of Message in a Bottle, which is what she based her business off of. And I'm still young. I'm still very new to this whole entrepreneur thing this time, in respect of I have the product, I have the exposure of social media. I've done small campaigns in the beginning, and at the end of the day, once I am in full speed with my mentor, I will be able to grasp and have a complete understanding of what direction to go in. So I hope this helps if you're starting your own business. Chime in, let us know if any of this makes any sense to you, because when Frankie and I started the Welcome to the Lost and Found, our desire was to help people find those things or find their way to those things that had been lost. And both of us share the fact that we both have lost a job. So, and I've lost numerous jobs. I can't even count. I've been in Texas 20 years, and I lost probably lost about 20 jobs. No, seriously, with my background being broadcasting and entertainment, those jobs flip over so fast, and I had the greatest time being on the radio. I was on the radio for like 6 years, doing traffic and weather on the 8s. But that phase has come and gone. Do not be afraid to reinvent yourself. Do not be afraid to tell people what you do, even if it's just a desire. And again, I said this yesterday, do not think that what you are doing is so fantastic that you can't share it with anyone. If it is that fantastic, get to your county office and register it. That way you will not be caught up in your emotions about somebody taking your product or your idea. And so many people lose out by waiting, thinking that someone's going to steal something from you. Go back to the parable of the talents. You don't need to worry about anything a man or woman is doing on planet Earth. If you skip a beat with the Most High, then it's gone. It's truly gone. So harness your gift, hone your skill, learn business, the business of what you want to do, and business in general, and get a really good understanding of social media, especially for those of you that I talk to often that are over that certain age and it scares you. Walk into that doggone thing afraid. Lights off with a brick in your hand to crack somebody in the head if they get in your way. But get it done, because at the end of the day, you're building not just your esteem and a platform that you'll learn to love. You're building legacy for your family. Okay? Frankie couldn't make it. She did chime in. She's doing her entrepreneur stuff, which I think she's hiring someone today. So let's pray for Frankie. And I'm sitting here again at Central Market in the beautiful Fort Worth, enjoying the music, watching parents let their children just do what they do on all of the children's stuff that's out here. Looks like fun. All right, so I'm headed to my next office, which would be the library, to finish up some shirts, get cracking on the business plan, which I have to have Monday, and something else that's in the works that I can't tell you about yet, but I will keep you posted. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for chiming in. Tell your friends, and again, leave us a comment. Let us know if any of this is working for you, helping you, and if there's a topic you would like us to touch on. We have had a great time with the entrepreneur. We had a marvelous time with relationships. Might have to revisit that because some stuff has happened. Anyway, we'll catch you later in the Lost and Found.